Meghan is a trained actress. That much is certain. What she does best is study people. Now, she might not be a great actress, but she's definitely a trained one, and she's been practicing her craft her entire life. There's no denying that she carefully studied Princess Diana, her gestures, the way she interacted with young Harry, even the tender moments like when she'd cup his face. And here's where things take a darker turn. This is where the psychopathic side of Meghan's behavior seems to show. Placing a pregnancy test beside Princess Diana's hair, claiming she placed her hands on Diana's grave to speak with her, and those sudden bursts of tears. It's all part of a performance. According to psychology, there's something called the Fortean transfer, and it seems Meghan has managed to convince Harry that she is Diana reincarnated, only this time the drama refuses to die down. Now, the latest twist has royal watchers absolutely shaken. Word on the street is that Meghan Markle has been left speechless after Candace Owens went full throttle, revealing what she calls the truth behind Meghan's pregnancy story. For years, Meghan and Harry have sold the world a picture of Archie's birth as a brave act of privacy. But now, the cracks are starting to show. Harry once claimed Meghan received not one, but 2 epidurals before leaving Portland Hospital just hours after giving birth. Medical experts are calling that claim nearly impossible. Epidurals aren't swapped mid-labor, especially not for someone reportedly dealing with preeclampsia. Then there's the logistics, the long drive from London to Frogmore Cottage, the newborn checks, the discharge process. None of it seems to add up, and that's just the beginning. Meghan's own story kept changing. First, the secrecy was all about privacy. Then it became medical complications. Then it was about changes in royal protocol. Reporters were even told she was still in labor after Archie had already been born, fueling whispers of a carefully crafted cover-up. Even insiders from the hospital began contradicting Harry's claims. No secret elevators, no gourmet meals, no royal frenzy behind the scenes, just silence. That's when Candace Owens struck. She argued that when the small lies begin to unravel, the entire story starts to collapse. Was this about controlling the narrative, earning public sympathy? Or was there something far deeper, something the palace or the public was never meant to know? Guys, you are not ready for the royal drama that's about to unfold. Because instead of protecting her image, Meghan's obsession with secrecy might have destroyed the very trust she and Harry were trying to build. And now, everyone's asking the same question. If this story doesn't add up, what else doesn't? See, Meghan has performed this heartbreaking act for Harry, convincing him that she somehow just fell into this life, that she only ever wanted love, and that she's just like his mother. She played on his emotions, on his trauma, the one chance he thought he had to save his mom again. When Harry retells that story, her threats of self-harm, the danger to her unborn child, the despair, it's chilling. And yet she somehow persuaded him that it was his idea to leave the UK, as if he were the one taking control. Now, the birth of Archie Harrison Mountbatten Windsor, the long-awaited son of Prince Harry and Meghan Markle, has been wrapped in whispers, contradictions, and endless speculation. But what if that perfect fairy tale moment the world witnessed wasn't exactly what it seemed? For years, Meghan and Harry have painted Archie's birth as a bold act of independence, a stand for privacy against the palace machine. But the narrative is cracking, fast. Investigators, insiders, and outspoken commentators are all pointing out inconsistencies in the official story. From the mysterious hospital timeline to the constantly shifting explanations about why the press was shut out, none of it quite lines up. And here's where it gets even more jaw-dropping. Some voices are now taking the speculation even further, questioning whether Meghan's children are biologically hers. It's an outrageous, controversial theory, but it's gaining traction in certain corners of the internet that meticulously track royal inconsistencies down to the smallest detail. Is this just another round of media exaggeration? Or could there be a grain of truth behind the storm of rumors? Whatever the reality may be, one thing is crystal clear. The story surrounding Archie's birth isn't fading away anytime soon, and that's where Candace Owens comes back into the picture. Amid all the noise, confusion, and speculation, she's become one of the loudest voices challenging the inconsistencies. Known for her unapologetic opinions and refusal to stay silent, Candace has called out what she believes are glaring contradictions in Meghan's story. And this time, she's not holding back. Her videos and commentary spread like wildfire. To her supporters, Candace Owens was simply saying what others were too afraid to, that something about Meghan's story didn't quite feel authentic. To her critics, she was fanning the flames of conspiracy and sensationalism. But either way, she had everyone's attention. Owens dissected every statement, analyzed interviews, compared timelines, and scrutinized public appearances with near-surgical precision. She argued that when the smallest details begin to shift, they often point to a much larger truth, one rooted in image control, narrative management, and public manipulation. That idea hit hard. Almost overnight, the conversation reignited. Social media was flooded with clips, reactions, and heated debates. Some accused Candace of unfairly targeting Meghan, turning private family issues into tabloid drama. Others defended her, insisting she was only exposing what mainstream outlets refused to touch. No matter where people stood, the impact was undeniable. Candace Owens had taken an old royal story and turned it back into global headlines, not just by questioning one event, but by tapping into something far deeper, the ongoing tug-of-war between the Sussexes and the public's trust. And this is where things got messy. Candace's deep dive into Prince Harry's own words began raising eyebrows across the internet. In his memoir, Spare, Harry recounts Archie's birth at Portland Hospital, a moment he describes as private, emotional, and shielded from the outside world. But when Owens revisited those passages, certain details didn't seem to line up. Her breakdown of that chapter quickly set social media ablaze. Owens highlighted how Harry's timeline and description felt unusually tight, prompting both fans and skeptics to question whether the events, as written, truly aligned with standard hospital procedures for such a high-profile birth. That's when people began asking the bigger question: if this account feels inconsistent, what else might have been shaped to fit the Sussex narrative? Soon, medical professionals joined the discussion, not to accuse, but to analyze. They compared Harry's version of events with common maternity protocols, and the general consensus wasn't necessarily about scandal, it was about storytelling. Was Harry compressing the timeline for dramatic effect, or were there palace protocols that made the process look different from a normal hospital birth? Candace Owens seized on that uncertainty, insisting that even the smallest inconsistencies can shake public confidence, especially when a couple's entire brand is built around setting the record straight. And her audience loved it. What started as a quiet passage buried in a royal memoir suddenly exploded into a full-blown online debate about truth, privacy, and that razor-thin line between reality and royal PR. As the questions grew louder, so did the tension. Every statement, every date, every retelling was now under a microscope. Candace didn't just reopen the conversation, she reignited it. Traditionally, royal births are precision-orchestrated events. The press is notified almost immediately. Official statements are issued, and within hours, the world gets that first iconic glimpse of the royal baby. But when it came to Archie's birth, everything played out differently. And that's where the mystery began. Instead of the usual palace fanfare, there was silence. Reporters waited outside. Cameras rolled. But no announcement came. When Meghan and Harry finally spoke, their explanations only deepened the confusion. Meghan first said it was about privacy, that she wanted to protect those sacred first moments with her son from the relentless glare of the media. But soon, another version emerged. There had been complications, she explained, which caused the delay in announcing Archie's birth. And then came the contradictions. Timelines didn't line up. Sources close to the palace gave conflicting accounts. Suddenly, what should have been one of the happiest royal moments became a swirl of confusion that left even the most devoted royal watchers scratching their heads. What made it all the more fascinating was Meghan's public image at the time. At that time, Meghan Markle had carefully positioned herself as a champion for women's health and open, honest conversations about motherhood. Yet, her own account of an almost instant recovery after giving birth seemed to clash with the very principles she often spoke about. Medical professionals soon joined the discussion, reminding the public that childbirth, especially when it involves complications like preeclampsia, which Meghan herself once mentioned, typically requires rest, monitoring, and careful postnatal care. So what was really going on? Was this just a case of mixed messages and miscommunication? Or was there something deeper behind palace walls? Something the public was never meant to see? It didn't take long for the rumors to snowball. Whispers began circulating from every corner of the media. Alleged insider stories from Portland Hospital, supposed eyewitness accounts, and a flood of online speculation that grew louder by the hour. Suddenly, new claims were surfacing everywhere. Strange details, missing timelines, of behind-the-scenes moments that didn't quite match the version Harry shared in Spare. Some reports began to wonder whether certain parts of the story had been dramatized for the public eye, adding yet another layer of confusion to an already tangled narrative. And that's when things got really messy. The more the story spread, the less anyone knew what to believe. Was this a genuine attempt by the couple to protect their privacy? Or was it an effort to tightly control the message, to curate the image they wanted the world to see? Were the contradictions simply honest errors, or part of a larger media strategy designed to manage public perception? Each new revelation only deepened the skepticism. Every conflicting account seemed to chip away at the trust that once surrounded the Duke and Duchess of Sussex. What began as a moment of royal joy had transformed into a full-blown media mystery, one that left even seasoned royal watchers asking where the truth actually lies. Because in the royal world, one small inconsistency can unravel an entire narrative. And once the public starts to question you, it's almost impossible to win them back. As the royal headlines continue to spin, one thing has become painfully clear. The story of Meghan Markle and Prince Harry has grown far beyond a birth, a memoir, or a media feud. It's become a saga about image, power, and the price of living life under constant scrutiny. What began as a celebration of new life has evolved into a cultural battleground, where privacy collides with publicity and authenticity clashes with perception. The couple's decision to break from royal tradition set them on a path few have dared to walk, one that has made them both deeply admired and fiercely criticized. Every time Meghan and Harry try to set the record straight, new questions emerge. Every time they speak their truth, the media crafts another headline. And now, with voices like Candace Owens amplifying every inconsistency and every unanswered question, the pressure surrounding the Sussexes has reached a boiling point. For their supporters, this is the story of two people fighting for control of their own lives, defying a centuries-old institution to protect their family and their mental health. But to their critics, it's something entirely different, a masterclass in narrative control, where every statement feels rehearsed and every revelation seems perfectly timed. Whatever side you're on, one thing's undeniable: the fascination is impossible to ignore. The royal mystique, the endless speculation, the clash between tradition and rebellion, all of it feeds into a story that refuses to fade away. The birth of Archie Harrison Mountbatten Windsor was meant to mark a new chapter for the monarchy, symbol of progress, diversity, and modern change. And yet years later, it still fuels debates, questions, and suspicion. Every time a new detail surfaces, the rabbit hole goes deeper. So what is the truth? Was this simply a clash between modern privacy and ancient protocol? Or is there something more? Something buried beneath the palace walls, protected by silence and spin? One thing's for sure: the world isn't done talking about Meghan and Harry. Their story has become a mirror reflecting how power, fame, and public trust collide in the modern age. And as this royal saga continues to unfold, all we can do is keep watching, keep questioning, and stay curious. Because with the Sussexes, the story is never just what it seems. Anyway, what do you think about this royal drama? Let me know your thoughts down below in the comments. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe so you never miss a single update on the world's most talked about couple. Until next time, bye for now.